Going on. So they have a game for you where I had a 87.7% accuracy, I believe it was, and I got a nice one with a nice tactic in the end game. I go pawn to d4, they go knight f6, I go bishop to f4, pawn to g6, and pawn to e3, followed by bishop here to g7. Now I've played this 700 times, you can see, and I have a 56% win rate, so I played pretty well when they play the Indian game. And it reflects on how I feel. I think I'm up there from the last time too, so I really love playing against this opening. I feel as if though, excuse me, it is just not the best opening. In my opinion, like I just don't think it is. Even though the eval bar is saying that, I feel like it's just easier to play white. But they go d6, they go pawn here to h3, they go knight to c6, they go knight here to f3. Now I try something different. If you see my videos, if you haven't, make sure you follow. I usually go knight to or c3 to stop knight to b4, but I did the eval bar in one of my other recap videos, and it's saying that after knight to b4, just bishop e2 is fine. So going knight to f3 makes more sense. So you see, I delay c3. I actually went knight to c3 and I considered it, but I still end up going pawn to c3 in this game, I believe. I go bishop here to h2, trying to avoid the e5, because if I don't, say I went like king h1, like I wouldn't go there, but just for an example, after e5, if I take the pawn, they can take back. It's double protected. I have to drop my bishop back, and then pawn to e4 will win a bishop or a knight, which is why I go here to avoid it, although bishop to c4 was better. The reason I didn't go bishop c4, however, was because of knight to a5. Then I guess I could have went bishop e2, and then they have a misplaced knight. But I just felt that because I could go bishop c4, they could very easily kick it away. So I just drop back to h2, bishop to avoid it. They go pawn to e5. I drop back to e2, which is the best move. They take, I take, and they go knight here to d5, and I finally go pawn to c3, which is not even the best move. I don't know why it's not the best move, but it's not. I went there to stop knight to b4 and then protect the pawn on d4. But maybe what the engine is saying is the pawn on d4 didn't need to be protected very much, because a3 does stop the b4 knight, knight going to b4, so I was right there. And the reason you don't want that is because if a knight's on b4, the bishop can easily get to f5, so you want to kind of avoid anything like that, although you could block with bishop d3. There's just no need to allow them to get that development with that initiative. But after my c3 move, they go knight to b6, I go knight b to d2, they drop the knight back, and this is where I start to feel good after rook to e1, is there's no opposition in this position, you could say. And that's kind of a rhyme, unintentional though, but there's just nothing here going on that could be harmful to me right now. And after c5, I'm sure I don't even respond correctly. I go knight to c4, so knight to e4 was better. So if I went knight e4, we're looking, okay, I see, we're looking at that weakness there on d6 still, except with knight on e4, it can't be taken by the knight on b6, which is why it's a better move, I assume. They go d5, they miss, and luckily because of that, I get knight to d6 in. They go rook over, I take this pawn, they go back, and I think I actually mess up here with knight x c8, yeah. I did not know what to do. I thought I was winning, but I couldn't figure out why, like what was the winning move here. And the winning move was knight back. Oh, wow, okay, because of knight to c7, I think. But even then, like knight c7, they take the pawn, knight to e6 attacking the rook, they could take it. Oh, they would if they don't take the pawn. They get. Oh, I guess I'm up a pawn. Okay, so I missed that. I have two straight mistakes. They take back. I go bishop d6, completely squandering the advantage. They take. I take the knight, and I take the pawn. So I do end up a pawn going towards the end game, but it should have been a lot more. A queen to g5, offering a queen trade. They accept it. They go rook here to d2. I go rook to b1, and I go rook to b1 to protect the pawn here on b2. They go rook over, which I saw, so I go king f1, which is the best move. The reason king f1 is so good, if you do move the bishop, you will lose a pawn. So say you went bishop c4, we trade rooks, they take the pawn on b2. So when I go king over, I want to protect the bishop again instead of getting out the way. They go bishop here to h6. I said g because the knight's on g5. And I go knight to f3, attacking the rook, getting out of the way of the bishop. Now you may be thinking maybe h4 or f4. But those create more, well, f4 really, no, like that, it creates a lot of weaknesses. One, the e3 square is not very weak, and then the g3 square is pretty weak, and then h4, you don't want to double up your pawns unnecessarily. So that's why knight back just makes the most sense, and it attacks the rook. They go rook here to c2, I go knight here to d4, another best move. They go rook to d2, and here I mess up with bishop b5. Now the reason I went bishop b5 was to get some pieces off the board, but the computer is saying I should have done it in a different manner. Should have went rook to d1 to trade off pieces, which is also forced, because if they take the bishop, I take with the knight, so they have to trade rooks here, and this must be a better position. And that's because I have to take with the king, because again, if I take with the rook, the pawn on b2 is hanging, so maybe that's why it's just king is an awkward position. But after knight in, they allow me to trade off and trade the rook off because there's no square for it to go. Now I go to an endgame with me being up a pawn, and this is winning. They go king over, bring my king in, both run our kings, and they get their bishop over to c1 to attack my weak pawn here on b2. Though it's not that weak, as b3 is a perfectly fine move, although b4 is better. However, after bishop a3, a blunder, I immediately capitalize with knight to b5, and they resign. They resign because of the 4k. They want to lose the bishop, and they're going to lose the game. Thank you for watching, and I hope you can enjoy, and have a good one.